So the next talk, Deepak was here last year. He said he has to come back to Kochi because he loved it so much, and we've got him back to Kochi again. The topic is AI and the evolution of gaming. What's next? Please welcome Deepak from OpenPlay Technologies.
It's already plugged in. Good afternoon, all of you. Let me start by playing this video.
എല്ലാവരും നിങ്ങളൊപ്പം തിരിച്ചെത്തിയിട്ട് സന്തോഷമുണ്ട് കല്ലിനുനി വസൻ ഇന്ത്യ ഒരു ഗെയിമിംഗ് രാഷ്ട്രമാക്കുക എന്നതിനെക്കുറിച്ച് ഞാൻ സംസാരിക്കൂ ഗെയിമിംഗ് ലോകം പിന്നീട് അതിവേഗം വികസിച്ചു ഇൻ അത്തിപ്പിസി ഇർലൈസ് AI ഗെയിമിംഗ് എങ്ങനെ വിപ്ലവം സൃഷ്ടിക്കുന്നുവെന്നും ഭാവി എന്തായിരിക്കുമെന്നും ഞാൻ സിസി ചെയ്യുന്നു AI യുടെ വിലൽസിസി
I'll stop it. This is my AI avatar Zook. He was insisting that he wanted to take this whole thing in Malayalam on his own. I had to insist that no, it's not yet time. Maybe a few more years and he'll be ready. So that's the world we are in. But very happy to be here, back in Kochi. Last year I was here talking about how we can make India a gaming, hub or nation of the world. In this last 1 year, a lot has happened. Many things have changed. AI is one of the biggest things which we have seen, a revolution which many tout as the biggest game changer ever for mankind. So even before we delve into the topic, which is AI and the evolution of gaming, I want to understand from you, all of you, to understand how are you using AI, whether in your personal life, work life, developing games. Okay, I'm blocking it, is it? Okay. So how are you guys? I'm keen to hear from you guys. How are you using AI today?
Using for kids' homework.
Using for kids' homework. Personal life improvement, yeah. Anybody else? People.
Right, long, flowery emails.
Reference images. Game devs. App icons. Okay. App icons. Anything else? Skybox. 2D asset creations. So while I'll talk about how we are using AI at work, subsequently, but I want to talk about the personal life, how AI has changed my life. So I start my day by talking to ChatGPT. It knows my name, it knows my family, it knows the work I do. It continuously brainstorms with me. The personal life has improved dramatically. My wife loves me more. Why wouldn't she? Because I'm now become a poet for her. I'm making wonderful romantic videos. So it has been a complete transformation which the AI has brought in. In fact, now every event of the family is driven by AI.
എല്ലാവരും നിങ്ങളൊപ്പം തിരിച്ചെത്തി
Yeah, so this is my 1-year-old daughter. For her first birthday, we created all this, standees, poster and everything else through AI, thanks to Midjourney. So now everything is getting powered by AI, and I want to set this context to kind of kickstart the proceeding. So let's start off by looking at how AI has been leveraged by some of the games which some of us would have played. I'm sure some of you would have played this game, Witcher 3, No Man's Sky, how AI has always been used in gaming. And we see these examples, whether it's in No Man's Sky, where AI was used to create infinite universes, planets, creatures, or it is Witcher 3 where AI-driven NPCs have created dynamic and engaging gameplay. So these examples have been there in the gaming space. Let us look at another example which is more recent, which is more Gen AI, not the conventional AI. Let's look at this example. So this is by a company, AI India company called Chaotix, which is now helping people develop games by giving a prompt. So this is a prompt to create a racing game of pets running across the city or something else. So we'll see how it generates a game within a few minutes by using just a prompt to create a gameplay. So these are just glimpses of things which are happening today, and there are so many other examples which are coming up every day. Just to take you a little back and see how the AI has evolved, like there has been a journey to AI. AI has been there, it's not a 2-year or a 5-year affair, it has been there for more than half a century. And if you go to the very early stages of AI, the first checkers, the program was created by Stretchy, which was back in 1940s or 50s, and then we have AI-driven paddle, or whether it is in Pong or Pac-Man, where we had AI-driven ghosts. So AI-driven gameplay has been there in limited ways for a long time in early days, and subsequently 1996, I think 1997 was a big event, which was a pivotal thing where finally IBM's Deep Blue, it competed with the chess champion and was able to defeat it in the second attempt. 96 it lost and 97 it won. It was basically the first time when a machine could actually do a checkmate with a human, right? So that was a big event which kind of created a vision in terms of what machines could be capable of. And then we have seen in 2000 how many games like a Minecraft which has created environments and events, levels, so on and so forth using AI. Recently, as recent as 2016, another big event happened where Google's AlphaGo defeated the Go champion. Go is an ancient Chinese game, and this AlphaGo was able to defeat it. This got a lot of eyeballs because it was defeating a 16-time world champion. It was supposed to be impossible, but this Google's DeepMind's AlphaGo could do it. So this is all which has been happening over the last so many years, and it has come to a point where today AI has become a reality, a real revolution. What does this revolution look like? How does this revolution look like? So today, in such a short time, AI industry is estimated to be a $200 billion industry. It is supposed to grow at a CAGR of 36%, which is impossible to believe in many other industries. In next 5-6 years, AI is supposed to fuel the global GDP by 2%, 1.5 to 2%. A 15 trillion contribution to the global GDP is what is AI expected to do. And more importantly, I think this is one thing which people fear, that AI is going to lead to a loss of jobs. So while there are actually 86 million jobs estimated to be lost, but the good news is that 97 million new jobs are going to be created. But more important than that is the fact that now this AI is assumed to be the powerful force which mankind needed. It is supposed to be something which can solve the problems of the world, whether it is poverty, health, education, climate, so on and so forth. And this has become a reality of today. Whether you look at the kind of growth which a ChatGPT has seen, being the fastest app to have 100 million users on a weekly basis, or having 2 million devs who are creating apps on top of ChatGPT, or it is the kind of phenomenal growth which NVIDIA has seen, which is driving the hardware behind the AI revolution which we are seeing. NVIDIA has become the third most valued company in market cap. So we have so many examples, unicorns in the AI space, investment interest in the AI space. AI has become a lens of investment across industries. And this today has become a big reality. It's important to look at this in terms of the unlimited potential it brings in. Now it's important for us to embrace the change or risk become obsolete. And I think what industrial revolution did so many decades back in terms of taking humans out of those physical, kind of a drudgery which we were in, AI revolution which we are seeing is going to do the same thing in terms of mental work which we do, in terms of many tasks which we undertake. And it's going to automate variety of things which today engages us. Looking at it from the lens of gaming, I think personally I'm seeing it as a great leveler, because games, especially high quality games, require investment, and I see that with this AI revolution we are going to see investments coming down, development times, development investments going to come down. It is going to fuel innovation at an altogether different scale, and most importantly it's going to enable game devs like all of you across the globe, passionate, talented, to create games for the world, and this will enable that kind of a change. So given this, now let's get into a little bit of technical topic in terms of what is AI. Right? AI, we know that there is generative AI, but there has been AI which we saw in examples before. So let's quickly create a distinction in terms of what is the Gen AI which we look at. I think most of us understand, but still it's important to kind of create that clarity. There is a predictive AI which has been there for all these years. Predictive AI is something, if you have to simplify it and understand it, predictive AI is like a crystal ball. It's like a crystal ball which can help you predict the future based on the past data. And this has been used by many industries today. Today, many of the industries, whether it's e-commerce, whether it's retail, logistics, supply chain, agri, healthcare, finance, many of the industries are using predictive AI models to predict outcomes, to predict events, to predict customer behavior, to drive a personalization. Your recommendation engines, which we see today everywhere, they come out of predictive AI. So this field has been there. This helps in decision making. This helps in creating a personalization. This helps in driving cost efficiencies. So that's your predictive AI. Gen AI, which is the new kid on the block, getting a lot of eyeballs, and rightly so, is essentially something which is like a genie, a magical genie, who has the power to do things for you which you could never imagine somebody else could do. It is able to create content. It is multimodal. It can speak. It can create videos. It can create audio, it can create content, it can create code, it can do so many things. It has multiple other capabilities. It can translate languages, it can process documents, it can synthesize information, it can brainstorm with you, so on and so forth. So that's Gen AI for you. And today what we are looking at is a breakthrough in terms of Gen AI capabilities plus predictive AI coming together to create a great revolution. Let's go a little deeper into Gen AI. So Gen AIs are powered by LLM, which are large language models. And these large language models, one of the big things about these models is they are trained on tons and tons of data. In terms of the parameters, if somebody had been tracking, then you would know that today the ChatGPT 4o is supposed to be trained on over a trillion. That is the kind of training which that model has got. Similarly, on the tokens, when you talk about the inputs which you can give to a AI in terms of prompts, which we call it. So the token length, which was only 100K earlier, today has gone to over 1 million. In the latest Google Gemini 1.5 Pro, they are going to release something which can take 1 million plus tokens, which means you can give documents which are 2,000 pages, we can give hour-long videos, and it has the capability to take that kind of an input, whether it's your data, whether it is a document, videos, you can give it all to that, and it will be able to give you the right results or whatever you need. It's multimodal, it's NLP, it's scalable, responsive times of this AI has gone to milliseconds. Today, the best of the models are responding in under 300 milliseconds. Incredible, impossible to imagine earlier. This kind of models which are heavily trained are able to respond now in real time, as human-like as possible. And now we are seeing the next barrier also getting broken, which is about creating that kind of emotional expression, a personalization, which we have seen in some of the demos in the last few weeks, which we have seen. So that's the kind of change which these LLMs are bringing in.
For a long time, we've wanted to build a universal AI agent that can be truly helpful in everyday life. Here's a video of our prototype, which you'll see has 2 parts. Each part was captured in a single take in real time.
What does that part of the code do?
This code defines encryption and decryption functions. It seems to use AES-CBC encryption to encode and decode data based on a key and an initialization vector, IV.
Do you remember where you saw my glasses?
Yes, I do. Your glasses were on the desk near a red apple.
They're really simple to set up. Just tap
Hey,
the
Chad, are you
data
there?
gem, write your instructions
Hey,
once,
yeah,
and come
I'm
back
here.
whenever
What's
you
up?
need it. Starting today.
Hey, let's have some fun. I'd like you to be super sarcastic. Everything you say from now on is just gonna be dripping in sarcasm. How does that sound?
Oh, that sounds just amazing. Being sarcastic all the time isn't exhausting or anything. I'm so excited for this. Nope, the sarcasm. Let's get this party started.
Can you see what's happening? You're getting a real-time video where the AI is able to understand the code, give you responses, even have a memory where it can trace where you have kept what. It can also now respond in various emotional expressions, has modulation of a different level altogether. That's the kind of breakthroughs we are seeing, and that is the kind of possibilities we are looking at. And hence, like when I first asked you the question that how many of you are using, I think it's today imperative that we start experimenting, maybe smaller use cases, maybe in personal life, but we need to understand how this technology is evolving. And gaming has actually a lot of use cases which we'll talk about. There are many use cases we'll talk about today in the next few minutes. But before that, I just want to quickly talk about at Nazara how we are driving AI first roadmap. So AI first roadmap is very important for us strategically, and we have also set up a task force. As part of that, what we are trying to do is, first of all, look at how do we really align it with strategic priorities, build collaboration with industry, academia, platform companies, and startups, and are right now looking at use cases across the board to see how we can have the right use cases analyzed in terms of the risk, the impact, and the achievability. I will talk about some of the use cases which we are driving across the group, so that you will also get a reference in terms of how we are looking at things and how are we orchestrating things, because AI use cases, AI for many people is a buzzword without real impact. But the important thing is how can you do experiments, how can you have KPIs to drive it, how can you create quick success stories. You can think big, but can you start small? And that's what we are trying to do. And let's start looking at some of these use cases. So in production, let's look at how AI has been transforming production. And AI in production in terms of PCG has been there for some time. We saw some videos where the predictive AI has been used in terms of generating universes, and AI is like a magic world creator. It can create your assets, your environments, your levels dynamically on the go, whether it's No Man's Sky, whether it is Minecraft, and so many other games we have seen that. It creates scalability, it creates uniqueness in terms of replayability. Every time you come, you have a unique experience. It can create customization based on the choices you make. So there is a lot of procedural generation which can be done. And this is what I think Unity and Unreal are bringing, that kind of technology now into for access for everybody. But this is something which has been there. Now it is going to be massively available across platforms to enable everybody to kind of start creating content for which they don't have to invest time. So their development time and cost would come down as we go further. So that's one big use case which we have seen companies already do it. And I think it's a matter of a year or so where you will see this become so accessible to everybody. And I think most of the game devs would start using this on a regular basis is the expectation. Game testing. I think testing is again one of the critical areas in the production pipeline. And this is something which, like I talked about at Nazara, we also picked up this as a use case because we have seen that many times your dev cycles get unduly delayed because of at the QA cycle, at the testing phase. And we wanted to improve it, automate it, drive efficiencies, and also drive quality so that we have rich games coming out of our production houses. The important thing here is to see what all you can do with testing, whether you can, today testing automation tools are there, many are there, I'll talk about a few, but there are many testing tools which are available. You can automatically detect a bug, you can automatically automate play testing, you can also analyze and identify variances in content, anomalies in the visual content, and also then do the stress testing. Today we are doing this, we are experimenting with tools like GoCodio, Test.ai, and there are a range of tools. So the one part of use case and implementation is that we are looking at one, can we make a list of tools which are available in the market and rank them in terms of usability, commercial, and also how it is relevant to our ecosystem. And then we are experimenting with those tools and coming out with a tool. At some times, there are cases where we need a bunch of tools together. So that's where we have to create a solution, and we are now integrating those things together. The last part is complex use cases where we need not just tools, not just solutions, but also expertise on AI, a deeper expertise, and that is where we are collaborating with experts in the field. I think this is something which many of you would have used in terms of content creation, whether it is art and visual. I think this is a game changer already, and for some of our studios, we already have our design teams, whether it is creatives on the marketing side, whether it is in-game art assets. We are now using it more and more. The intent is how do we kind of build a process around it with the right tools, because you have a bunch of tools. There is things like Midjourney and DALL-E, then there are DIDs, then there are others, and how do you enable, because initially when we started using, there were a lot of complaints in terms of saying you get the output but you don't get a consistency. How do you play around with the characters or with the environments you have built? And that is where we have seen now, using more and better tools which are coming out, we are able to create consistent content, scalable content across. And this is one thing which we have seen excessively becoming a dominant use case to improve the efficiency, productivity, and the quality of our design and creatives. Coding, I think, is something which became a use case pretty early, like Microsoft Copilot was there, and then we have ChatGPT and so many others. So, and engineers today have definitely, how many of you are using, who are engineers, are using some kind of an AI assistant? Which ones are you using? How do you find it? Is it useful or not? YouTube link. Are you using regularly?
Yeah, there's this thing called Find. So you can type. There's this thing called Find, PHIND. So if you want to start a project, you can enter your idea, and basic templates and initial code will be successfully come, and then you have to still work upon it. But then most of them is actually paid. So the free tier, you can only ask a few questions, and then for more context you have to go paid, and then have it in your VS Code. Yeah, so today across again multiple entities in Nazara, we have most of our engineers who are assisted by AI, mostly it's Copilot or ChatGPT, and they are using it regularly. What we have seen from them, the responses from the engineering teams have been that for simple use cases it has been excellent. So many of their easier tasks have been automated. They are spending lesser times. They are also able to do a basic testing at their level as well. On the complex side is where they are also expecting that how can this kind of come in play, and that's where the expectation is that as we go further, these tools will also evolve to also handle the complex task. But simple tasks have now been, I think the productivities have improved, our sprint cycles have become better, and it's a matter of time when we see a dramatic change there as well. So even on the UI creation, how many of you are using automated UI creators? Nobody? So I think that's another field which is coming out. There are a lot of now tools available in the market where you can automatically generate your UI, adaptable UIs, and this is available, and that example was one of them. Personalization. This is that big field which has already been there, and now it is getting a bigger boost. But how many of you are using data to personalize, to understand player behavior, to kind of build customizations, to build cohorts, to look at retention cycles, how is your M1, M7, M30, and so on and so forth. You're looking at your ROAS, you're looking at your creatives. How many of you are using data for personalization? Can you talk about it? What level of?
We game analytics is for a platform, and data.ai for the intelligence. So these are the two platforms we use. And so we have these analytics SDKs in the build, and then we analyze their retention.
So it is helping you.
Yes, absolutely.
So today you have a lot of platforms. Today there are platforms, and we are exploring some of them which will go live maybe in a month's time, where we are kind of building or integrating those platforms which can give you insights in real time about your data. We are integrating those platforms where, like a chat GPT prompt, you can ask questions about your data, player behavior, what's going to happen, and that's the first level of implementation we are doing, so that all the data part where you need analytics teams and you need more time to gauge or assess what you need to do next, that is being shortened. And you are looking at retentions, you are looking at your funnels, onboarding funnels, where are the droppages, what is happening, you're looking at localization, you're looking at multiple aspects to make sure that the monetization is better, retentions are better, you're able to identify the right cohorts, you're able to nudge the players in the right way. Today, one of our bigger implementations, for which we are keeping at least 6 to 9 months time, is essentially driving the complete live ops through AI. So it's like, imagine that you have a live dashboard of data flowing around player behavior, player actions, and then your AI is dynamically responding to those player actions. Imagine a League of Legends game which is happening, and you're looking at the data dynamically, and the AI is able to respond automatically in terms of actions. So that's the kind of environments or the kind of scenarios which we are looking at, and this is a game changer in itself, because this is the crystal ball which will help you in retaining better, understanding your players better, building the right economies, creating the right IAPs, rightly pricing based on customer demographics, and so on and so forth. So this is something which is a very strong kind of a tool for the business. Intelligent NPCs, I think this we have already talked about, and today we are seeing in more and more games there are intelligent NPCs who are autonomous, who are realistic, unpredictable, who are creating responses based on the player's behavior and are creating a different level of immersive experiences. How many of you have played games with intelligent NPCs? Not yet? Okay. So I think this is something which we will see in the next few years. It's going to, this is one area where a lot of work is happening, and it's a matter of time where you will start seeing the NPCs becoming more immersive, more engaging, and more real time.
Deepak, one question on the previous slide. Sorry to answer, but what are the tools that you use for personalization?
So personalization, there are multiple things. It's a solution like I talked about. In fact, we are looking at expertise also. So let me go back to personalization. I'm going front. No, I think it's fine. So anyways, to answer your question, so in personalization, I think there are 2-3 steps which we have identified. Step number 1 is to have a CDP, a customer data platform. Basically, can you create a unified database where you can really track, tag, and make sure that the data is clean in terms of different customer interactions across the life cycle of players, whether it is interaction on the game, across the game, on the platform, on the app, on the call center. For us, at many places we have call centers, we have communication platforms where we send notifications, SMS, WhatsApps. So we are trying to integrate the entire thing into one platform. So that's step number 1, which we are looking at. And these CDPs you can create with the help of the platform companies. So they are, whether it's AWS or it's Microsoft or it's Google, everybody has solutions today to help you build the right CDP. And on top of that, most of these platform companies have their own tools which will enable you to kind of segment the customers, to look at that. And then as part of this, then you need the advanced ML models to come in. And that is where we are looking at expertise to kind of bring those models and train those models, because this is not something which is a switch on, switch off. Like, it's not going to give you results in 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. You have to train, you have to make the models learn and train, get trained on the behavior. And that's when you're going to see the results. So it's going to be an iterative process of learning and training. So In fact, this is like one of the things which we are hearing today is customized LLMs, right? Where today whatever you will see in the market are generalized LLMs. They are general in nature because they are trained on the entire database. But now what you are looking at is, on top of that, can you build a customized LLMs which is based on your data, your world, your players, your context. So that's where you start building these customized LLMs and ML models to ensure that then you can create a lot of customization, your micro-cohorting, your communication, your decisions. Today, for example, the company I lead, we are looking at how can it drive the live ops in terms of what bonuses we are giving, what kind of rewards we are giving, how we are cohorting, how we are communicating, what are our kind of engagement strategy for each cohort. So that's what, it's a lot of work here, and that's why we have taken it in, and it's like something which is not going to create the quick win. It's the second phase of. And there are so many other use cases. I think every day you read, I think yesterday I was reading, one of the companies has come out with something called emotes, where the customers or the players can actually create their their emoticons in terms of, and can place that into the game. And that's one of the use cases, but there are so many use cases. Yes, time's up, 2 minutes. Yeah. So I think what we are looking at is, for example, one of the use cases which we have taken up is customer support. And that's one use case which we have seen a lot of companies already started implementing. So support is one where we are looking at chatbots, sentiment analysis, so on and so forth. Risk and fraud, again, a big area for gaming. I think the data is 20 billion out of the 200 billion, like $20 billion gets affected due to frauds and risk, which is attached. So AI would play a big role in terms of identifying these risks, preventing these risks. So that's one big use case. And learning and inclusivity. And of course, we are, we don't have to say about it, that we are obviously, with this Gen AI and AI, we can create more better virtual avatars and create more immersive experiences. So just I'll take just a minute to just wrap it up. I think one important thing when we are looking at AI is, these are the questions which I've seen everybody ask, that how do you look at piracy, how do you look at at bias and fairness, how do you look at accountability, because these AI models will throw out results, but who takes accountability, right? Then, because it might affect the player behavior, it might have a direct impact on the players. So who takes accountability? What are the security risks? Because we have already seen prompt injections happening where your AI models are getting corrupted and are started consciously hallucinating. So there are so many such cases which are happening. So this is where a lot of work is happening from the technology companies, but this is something where individuals and organizations have to come together to kind of build a little bit framework around how do you manage these risks. And next frontier is AGI. Artificial General Intelligence. How many of you have heard of this AGI word, term? So AGI is supposed to be super intelligence, which is where it's like the pathway on which we are on in terms of increasing capabilities of the AI. It would reach a tipping point at some point in time. It could be 5 years, 10 years from now. But what is expected is it will tip to a point where you will have artificial general intelligence, which would be AI, which would be smarter than humans. It would not just limit to what it has gotten trained on and be limited to that. It will be able to create things. It will be able to solve the problems. It will be able to invent things. And it will become much more superior than a human. And that is where the world is heading towards. So this is coming soon. Yeah. So with that, thanks a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Deepak. Thanks, Deepak. That was a really engaging talk. Any questions for Deepak? I mean, Amit told you in the morning what you shouldn't do with AI, and Deepak's telling you what you should actually do with AI. So I hope you got both ends of the spectrum today. But it's a really interesting talk, Deepak. We should do something else at IGDC as well, on the same lines. But thank you. Any questions for Deepak? Like Deepak said, embrace it. Don't run away from it. Don't fight it. It's here to stay. It's here to make our lives better. Thank you, Deepak.